us what it's like being in a Hollywood marriage for 21 years and being successful.
We don't know. I kept my separation a big secret from my family, from my mom, from everybody. Only 2 people knew.
I'm really worried because Duane and Tisha have like a real violent relationship.
And Duane's hi, honey.
Hey, y'all about to get her beat with a bag of oranges.
For over 20 years, Tisha Campbell and Duane Martin were celebrated as one of Black Hollywood's greatest love stories. But behind all those sitcom smiles and red carpet poses, Tisha Campbell was living what she now describes as an actual horror story.
One time, this person asked me, "This house is beautiful. What more could you want?" And I said, "Happiness." I'm free. I don't live here no more. I'm free, y'all. I'm so happy. Wow.
Her suffering wasn't just about her marriage. It was about protecting secrets that Hollywood's elite had worked decades to hide. Secrets that, once exposed, would connect her husband to one of the biggest names in entertainment history.
But I think the worst part of it was nothing ever happened no consequences ever happened to him. So I grew up thinking nothing bad happens to bad people.
Tisha Campbell and Duane Martin got married in 1996, and at that moment, they weren't just 2 actors getting hitched. They were positioning themselves as the couple that would show Hollywood what Black love could look like when done right.
So this is the type of interview we're going to conduct right now?
I'm just saying.
No, really, because this is a serious subject, so this is what we're going to do?
It is a serious subject.
Yeah, but this is what we're going to do?
No, continue. Continue.
Duane Martin.
Tisha had been in the game since she was a kid. We're talking Little Shop of Horrors, School Days, House Party, all those films that made her a familiar face to anyone who grew up in the 80s and 90s. Duane was holding it down too, building this reputation as a reliable, good-looking brother who could act. But here's the thing that most people either forget. Tisha didn't come into this marriage on a good note. She came into it fresh out of one of the most traumatic professional experiences a woman could face in 1996. Remember the show Martin? Tisha played Gina, the love interest of Martin's character, and she was on that show for most of its run. But during the final season, she left and filed a lawsuit against her co-star Martin Lawrence, alleging,
right before Tisha left the set because she had to. It got to that point.
Now, this was 1996. We were still 21 years away from the Me Too movement, and the entire industry had no idea how to handle a situation like this. And that's the reason Tisha was labeled difficult. People questioned her motives, her character, her future. She went from being a beloved sitcom actress to being canceled overnight. And in that storm of public scrutiny and professional setbacks, Duane Martin offered her an escape from the chaos, a chance to be seen as more than a victim. They got married in a lavish ceremony, and for Tisha, that marriage became a new lifeline. She wasn't the victim of Martin Lawrence anymore. She was building something new. But here's something that we all know. What looks like a fresh start from the outside is actually the onset of a different kind of nightmare, and the trap was set from day one.
This is a different change in my life. Am I gonna make it? I don't know. But it really is one of those things where I just gotta move forward, and I have the means to do it.
Yeah.
Tisha's transition from victim to wife and mother created this psychological reliance on the marriage as proof of her stability. She needed that marriage to work not just because she loved Duane, but because it validated her survival. If the marriage failed, it felt like the Martin Lawrence trauma had won, like she had traded one nightmare for another and still couldn't escape. And this reliance, this desperate need for the marriage to be okay, that's likely what contributed to her willingness to endure the trauma, which began just months after the wedding.
I'm supposed to slow down, figure this out, and it's not just for him, it's for me too. So it helps me in everything that I do.
Now, to understand what was happening with Tisha, we have to check out Duane Martin's real power in Hollywood. Duane was central to this circle called Real Husbands of Hollywood. Now, the show was a parody of reality TV, but it also highlighted the genuine nature of Black Hollywood's male elite. And at the center of that web of influence was Duane's friendship with Will Smith.
I live in LA. Does that make sense to you?
No.
I live in Los Angeles. There's a lot of opportunities I don't get because the guys don't want me to see them with their boyfriends. And I've suffered from that. Do you think me saying Will like guys, because I said it and I can't take it back.
Yeah.
Because I believe it. I know it for the most part.
Okay.
By me saying that, I hope it doesn't strike a nerve in anybody, but I'm saying I live in LA.
Yeah.
And there's a lifestyle that is kept quiet.
A secret society.
Yeah.
Will Smith, by the early 2000s, was arguably the biggest movie star on the planet. His association with Duane was not casual. They were frequently photographed together at events, premieres, and vacations. Now for Tisha, this closeness to Will Smith's circle provided some real benefits, career opportunities and social approval, but it also came at a cost, and the cost was absolute silence. As the wife of Smith's best friend, she became the gatekeeper. She was tasked with protecting the image of both men. If anyone asked questions about the nature of Duane and Will's friendship, she was supposed to make it seem like normal guy friendship, even when it felt like something else. Because the rumors about Will and Duane's so-called friendship have been floating around since the early 2000s. Back in 2012, Star Magazine ran an exclusive report claiming Will and Jada were on the verge of divorce. An insider revealed that Will took Duane on an exotic vacation, and an eyewitness allegedly spotted them having a romantic dinner. At the time, this was dismissed as tabloid nonsense. Will and Jada were America's golden couple. Duane was their good friend, but Tisha was paying attention. And more importantly, she was being asked to hide this whole stuff.
My husband is the leader of our household, but I asked him if I could lead in this particular journey.
In 2013, Jada addressed rumors about Will in an interview, and her response was interesting.
I've always told Will, you can do whatever you want as long as you can look at yourself in the mirror and be okay.
Wow.
Okay? Because at the end of the day, Will is his own man. I'm here as his partner, but he is his own man. He has to decide who he wants to be. And that's not for me to do for him.
Now, on the surface, that sounds like a supportive wife talking about her husband's individuality. But in the context of the rumors, it sounds like someone curating a fake narrative. And Tisha, during all of this, was on the front lines of the defense. She was the wife who would tweet things like, "Usually I ignore negativity, but I'm tired of the media attacking the Smiths. They're an amazing couple, and I wish people would stop perpetuating lies and leave them alone." She was protecting an image that required her silence, but the silence couldn't last forever. Eventually, the truth finds a way to surface. January 2019. That's when Tisha Campbell filed for a restraining order against Duane Martin, and the affidavit she filed shattered the public image of their marriage completely. Tisha swore under penalty of perjury that this was not a recent development triggered by the divorce. She said the was a foundational element of the marriage. It had been there from the beginning. In December 2018, just weeks before she filed, Tisha described Duane grabbing her by the arm to try to get her in the bedroom. She also claimed being pinned against a wall by her throat until she had trouble breathing.
I felt myself hurl myself into a corner and ball up. And I think I blacked out because the next thing I remember was the pain, and I was back in my body.
Beyond the physical violence, the horror included something that many folks describe as equally damaging: relentless psychological attacks, specifically body shaming. Tisha described being constantly belittled about her weight and her appearance. This wasn't occasional criticism. This was a systematic effort to erode her self-esteem, to make her feel unlovable, to make her feel lucky to be in the marriage despite everything. And here's the part that really shows the calculated nature of the abuse. Tisha admitted in her affidavit that she kept the abuse hidden specifically to protect her family and the public image of her spouse. She knew exactly what she was sacrificing by staying silent. She was sacrificing herself to protect Duane Martin, and he allegedly knew exactly how to use that against her.
I kind of knew something was up with my child, which is what I would tell all of my friends. Something's up with this kid. And they would, proceed to tell me, no, you're just a, first-time mom. But I kind of knew there was something happening the minute I brought him home from the hospital.
In an industry where positive representations of Black marriage were rare, exposing Duane as an abuser felt like a betrayal of the community. It felt like feeding into negative stereotypes. Duane Martin allegedly took advantage of her loyalty. He understood that Tisha's commitment to their public image was stronger than her commitment to her own safety. As long as she believed that protecting him was protecting Black love itself, she would stay silent. And that silence enabled financial manipulation. It allowed him to stay in a secret relationship with Will Smith. It enabled the elaborate scheme that would eventually bring down the whole house of cards. Because here's what happens when you trap someone in a relationship. You can control everything about them. Their finances, their connections, and their perception of reality. And Tisha Campbell would discover exactly how far that control extended when she tried to leave. But we're not there yet. First, we need to understand the financial mess that Duane Martin constructed and how it connected all the way to Will Smith himself. That's where this story turns into a full-scale Hollywood scandal.
With Tisha Campbell Martin and Duane Martin. They filed for bankruptcy not too long ago. They cited about $15 million worth of debt.
In January 2016, Tisha and Duane Martin filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy. They declared $15 million in debt, but the trustee, who's this federal official tasked with finding assets for creditors, started noticing something strange. The couple's lifestyle didn't match their declared statements. They were living large, driving nice cars, and still maintaining this image of success while claiming they were completely broke. And here's where it gets interesting. The centerpiece of their bankruptcy was this 9,000 square foot mansion in Chatsworth, California. It was purchased in 2006, back when the market was good. But when the market crashed, the home's value dipped below the mortgage owed. Duane negotiated a short sale with the bank, where the bank agreed to sell the home for less than the debt to a third party. But here's what the trustee discovered. The third-party buyer was actually a shell company called Rox LLC. And Rox LLC wasn't some independent investor coming in to help out. The trustee alleged that Rox LLC was controlled by Duane Martin himself. He was buying his own house back from the bank at a big discount, wiping out the mortgage debt while secretly retaining ownership. To maintain the illusion, Duane signed a lease with Rox LLC, paying $5,000 a month in rent to himself. Then he listed the home for sale at $2.6 million. His plan was to sell it, pay off the nominal debt held by Rox LLC, and pocket the difference of $1.3 million, tax-free and hidden from his bankruptcy creditors. But here's the million-dollar question. Where did the cash come from? A bankrupt Duane Martin didn't have $1.3 million lying around. Someone had to fund this operation. Interestingly, during the divorce proceedings, Tisha Campbell discovered the real person funding this whole scheme. She tried to convince Duane to tell the truth, but he refused. He wanted her to keep protecting him by staying quiet. That's the moment everything changed. Tisha went to the trustee. She became the whistleblower against her own husband and handed over evidence that would expose the scheme and lead investigators to Will Smith.
Can't go into much detail about the past because there was a confidentiality agreement, but I was actually kind of shocked. There were people in my ear saying, be quiet, don't say anything, and then there were other people who were like, you need to back. But I took a day and I said, I'm gonna just hit him up. And so I was like, hey, and he was like, T. I said, yo, are we good? Right. And he was like, yeah, T, don't read into what it is. You know, there's a lot of people that's trying to bring up the past and trying to make it news today, but you know, T, we're good, I love you, I love your family.
Court documents revealed that in 2012, Will and Jada Pinkett Smith extended a loan of $1.4 million to Duane Martin. The trustee subpoenaed Will Smith's financial records and personal emails to trace the funds. The emails allegedly showed Duane Martin putting pressure on Will Smith to finance the transaction. This suggests one of two things. Either Duane felt entitled to Smith's resources, or Smith felt an obligation to support Martin's lifestyle. Either way, it was a different level of financial entanglement between two married men.
With everything, with success, with failure, relationships, if you put in certain kinds of things and certain kinds of mechanisms, then you can get a successful result.
Now, let's put this in context. Duane met Will Smith on the set of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air in 1993. That's where their bestie relationship began. And for decades, they were frequently photographed together, vacationing together, building this image of Hollywood brotherhood. Guests at Duane's 35th birthday party revealed Will Smith even bought him a Bentley, leading to the conversation about the nature of their friendship. But in 2011, something happened that intensified these rumors. Will and Duane took a trip to Trinidad without their wives. Reports from that time described them as potentially being on the down low.
You scared that she gonna tell all those freakers about you and Wayne, huh? Duane Martin. That's what you're scared of. Go ahead and let it come out, Will. Just tell her, yeah, that's why Tisha left on Wayne. Come on, Will. Just put it out there, bro. Everybody know. Anybody from LA know you and Duane are an idol. Stop letting her extort you for that little secret. You may not know or think people know, but we all know though.
If this is all true, the $1.4 million loan takes on a very different meaning. It wasn't just a small help. It was a financial lifeline designed to keep Duane in the lifestyle that his relationship with Smith required. If Duane Martin went broke and lost his home, he would lose his access to the elite circles where he and Smith socialized. He would lose the stuff that made their relationship possible. The money wasn't a gift. It was a way of keeping Duane comfortable.
I think the whole Duane Martin rumor is just too convenient for me, right? It'd be different if you were a best friend and if Will Smith was indeed gay, he's hunched more people than Duane Martin. You know what I'm saying?
While the bankruptcy documents provided the financial skeleton of the scandal, the flesh was added years later by a former personal assistant and close friend of Will Smith.
This is unlike him, right? So, all right, I open the door to Duane's dressing room, and that's when I see Duane and having anal Will.
Let me process that for a second.
There was a couch, and Will was bent over on the couch, and Duane was standing up, killing him. Like, it was murder in there.
In his interview with Tash K, brother Bilal claimed to have walked in on Will Smith and Duane Martin getting freaky on a couch. He described Martin as the more dominant partner and shared details that left little doubt about what he claimed to have witnessed.
Duane Martin was allegedly beating Will Smith in front of the bike.
They said Duane was doing the bending.
Oh? No.
Well, bending Will.
Yes.
Now, Bilal's story is important for understanding Tisha Campbell's experience. It provides a potential explanation for the horror she lived through. If her husband was indeed engaged in an intense, passionate, arguably romantic relationship with one of the most famous men on earth, the psychological toll would be immense. It would explain so much of what she described. And the silence, the 20 years of silence, that makes sense too. Because if Tisha ever revealed what she saw, it wouldn't just end her marriage. It would expose Will Smith in a crazy way.
I don't really understand how we went through the bankruptcy, honestly, but that I was kind of separated from it, so I don't really know how we got through it. But it really is just taking yourself outside of it and keeping moving forward. I just move forward.
Here's something that speaks louder than any statement Tisha could have made. In 2012, when the Star magazine rumors surfaced, Tisha aggressively supported the Smiths. But when brother Bilal's allegations emerged in 2023, Tisha did not rush to defend her ex-husband or Will Smith against his claims. Her actions suggested she found Bilal's statements credible, or at the very least, she wasn't willing to put herself on the line to deny them anymore. After decades of being the gatekeeper, the defender, the protector of images that weren't hers to protect, Tisha Campbell finally chose silence over lies. But we're not done yet, because there's more to this story, especially if y'all take a look at Lisa Ray's old interview.
Now, you tell me about Duane Martin, who's married to Tisha Campbell, who's good friends with...
From Tisha. Her soon-to-be ex.
I heard about that. I didn't know what to believe.
Unfortunate, they've been married for so long, and...
He's still good friends with Will Smith, though, correct?
I don't know that either. I just know he's not my friend anymore.
Lisa married Michael Missick, who was the Prime Minister of Turks and Caicos. She then introduced her husband to her friend and co-star, Duane Martin. But looking back, Lisa Ray has called this one of the worst things she ever did.
Well, you know, when you introduce your friend to your husband, I did that for business, for association, for relationship. And when it went sour and I had a sidebar with Duane and said, hey, you know, what are you doing and why are you doing it? And I don't...
He became better friends with your husband than you were.
He started, you know, being in places that he shouldn't have been.
Where?
My friend. Just along with the shenanigans.
In your living room when you come home from work and you're like, Duane, what are you doing here? I didn't call you. Michael, why are you entertaining him?
I made it very clear that we were not friends anymore and that he was not welcome in my home anymore.
On The Wendy Williams Show, Lisa Ray claimed that Duane played a central role in destroying her marriage. And when she described what happened, it sounded similar to what Tisha Campbell went through. Duane, whom she considered a brother, began introducing her husband to other women. This wasn't just infidelity. This was like matchmaking, creating a network. But this isn't the only time Duane was accused of making this kind of arrangement. He was also accused of facilitating Michael's infidelities with Nicole Murphy, Eddie Murphy's ex-wife.
Was he with Nicole Murphy?
Was who with Nicole Murphy?
Michael?
Yes.
Think about what this means. That role requires two things: trust and silence. Everyone who was part of these arrangements trusted Duane to keep things quiet, and Duane trusted them to do the same. It was a whole ecosystem built on what people couldn't say publicly. And here's where it all connects back to Tisha. If Duane was doing this for other people, what do you think he was doing in his own marriage? What arrangements was he maintaining? What secrets was he keeping?
I heard more rumors about Duane than Will.
Oh, you heard rumors about Duane. People like to say whatever happens behind closed doors is nobody's business, but when you're a public figure, it is everyone's business.
No, because if you kept it behind closed doors, nobody would know. Therefore, it wouldn't be nobody's business. They bring shit from out the bedroom. That's how we know any goddamn thing.
Yeah.
Y'all don't know what I do in the bed. I don't care what my OnlyFans looks like.
The divorce between Tisha and Duane was finalized in 2020. But honestly, the fallout continues to this day. The financial abuse, the hidden assets, the shell companies, all of it left her with $21 to her name and a whole lot of questions about where the money went. Duane Martin allegedly spent years positioning assets where Tisha couldn't find them, building a financial fortress that she couldn't access, and leaving her with $7 when she finally walked away.
Because you went through a divorce, and if I read correctly, they said you had $7 left to your name. Is that true?
That's true. Actually, no. The story was I had $21 in my pocket and a knife cost $7 and I wanted to pay for the knife, but it was Christmas and I had a choice to try to get some extra toys for my kids.
When Duane got engaged to model Ashley Marie Jones, reports surfaced that Tisha Campbell had issued a warning to his new fiancé. Sources claimed Tisha warned Ashley to keep him off her male friends and explicitly referenced Duane's background. Now, this is huge. This is Tisha stating, arguably for the first time without legal pressure, that her husband's manhood was a known issue in their marriage. Back in the day when she filed the restraining order, she was in legal mode. Everything she said was under oath, forced to support her case. But now, she had no pressure. That warning was her way of saying what she couldn't say for 20 years. I know what you are, I know what you did, and I'm warning your future wife so she can protect herself. And Tisha has used social media to signal her stance over the years. Back in 2020, during Jada Pinkett Smith's entanglement scandal with August Alsina, Tisha commented, "The truth always comes out. They will lie till the end." Now, Tisha didn't name any names, but she wrote "will" in all caps twice. And in the context of everything that was coming out about the Smiths' marriage, it felt like a jab at the elite circle she once protected.
Storms come, and people need to understand there are in those low moments. There's always just wait one more second, one more day. I have some amazing other people in my life, like, friends who are like, we got this.
Recently, a former violinist named Brian Scott Joseph filed a lawsuit against Will Smith, and the allegations paint a pattern that's consistent with everything we've seen. Joseph claims he was hired to work with Will Smith on a tour project. At first, everything seemed normal. Then, he says, the relationship started to change. Will Smith began grooming him for personal pleasure. He allegedly stated they had a special connection while spending time alone together. Joseph also reported a traumatic series of events, including an alleged intrusion into his Las Vegas hotel room, where he returned to find a handwritten letter saying, "Brian, I'll be back, just us," with a drawn heart signed Stone F, which is also one of Will Smith's nicknames. After reporting this to the management team, Joseph alleges he was accused of lying and fired from his job.
Earlier this year, I was hired to be a performer on a major tour with somebody who is huge in the industry. So I was excited, proud of myself for getting the opportunity. Unfortunately, some things happened, and I can't get into the details of exactly what that was because it's already a legal issue right now. But the reason why I'm speaking out about this is because getting fired or getting blamed or shamed or threatened or anything like that simply for reporting sexual misconduct or safety threats at work is not okay. And I know that there's a lot of other people out there who have been afraid to speak up, and I understand. And if that's you, I see you. And that's pretty much it.
Whether these allegations are true will be decided in court, but it adds to a list of evidence that creates a disturbing picture of Will Smith's real personality, which also played a major role in breaking Tisha Campbell's marriage. Her relationship was a horror show of control and financial ruin because it was designed to sustain a lie. Duane Martin's intense relationship with Will Smith required a cover-up. Tisha Campbell was that person. She was the wife who made everything look normal. For 20 years, she deflected rumors about her husband's relationship with Will Smith. She defended their friendship when questions surfaced. She endured physical damage, emotional breakdown, and financial issues to protect a fake bond. The $1.4 million loan from Will Smith was proof of what she was protecting. Tisha paid for that silence with her body, her mind, her money, and 2 decades of her life. But when the court demanded the truth and Tisha realized she could go to prison for Duane's fraud, she made the decision to stop lying. In doing so, she shattered the protective dome over Duane Martin and Will Smith.
Even though this is something that happened a long time ago, you could still make it happen in your mind every single day in your walk in life, over and over again, becoming and still maintaining being a victim. That's not what I do.
Right.
And I've never been a victim to it, but there was some remnants up in there.
Absolutely.
And so this is my way of telling him, I forgive you and I forgive myself.
Wow.
I have to.
So here's what I want to know from y'all. What do you guys think about this Will Smith connection? Was that loan really just a loan between friends? Or was it the cost of keeping a secret? Share your thoughts in the comments and subscribe for more videos like this.